Hi, I'm David Naylor, Engineering Manager here at enduroTEQ. Today we're going to go over our dissolving equipment. We're going to cover the UltraM, the UltraG, the Ultima 500, and the Ultima 800. We'll go over some key features of each dissolver, some benefits of them, when you would use them in your applications, and also some troubleshooting tips. First up, we're going to cover the UltraM. This is our flagship dissolver. It is the most versatile dissolver we've ever made. It comes with, has HDPE construction, so it's going to be chemically resistant. It's got a small footprint, as you can see. You can use it with either our bottles or our discs for a simple change out. And uses non-electric level control, which we've proven in the past. In the box, you're going to get everything that you need to get this thing up on the wall. First up, for mounting, you have a small wall mount that takes 3 screws and toggle bolts that are provided with you. You just put this up on the wall, and it slides right onto it, easy as can be. Once you get it up on the wall, you're going to want to put the float in there. So the float has a small little slit cut into it, and it's going to hook onto the yoke of the non-electric level control here. So, put it on there, you'll hear it click. Go ahead and set it back on there. On the back side of the dissolver is where your incoming water is going to come. So you're going to hook in your 3/8" OD tubing into here. You have your pressure regulator, which we have already preset here at the factory, and then it goes down into your level control. On the bottom of the unit, you're going to have 2 ports. One says 1/2" NPT and one says 3/8" NPT. The 3/8" NPT is going to be where your solution outlet goes. This is what is going to go to your pump. So take some Teflon tape, put a wrap on here, finger tight this into the to the port. The other one is for an overflow situation. You get a hose bar that has a 1/2" ID tube. Screw this into the 1/2" NPT port and then route this to drain. The operation of the dissolver is quite simple. Once the water goes up, there's a float in there that lifts up, it's going to shut off the water. Once you pump out enough solution, the float's going to drop and more solution is going to fill up in there. So it's always an on-demand kind of situation. So whenever you need to pump, it's ready for you. Make up about 0.6 gallons a minute, so it's going to be able to keep up with your pump. If you need help with your pump sizing, we have resources available on our website to assist you. When you receive your dissolver, it'll be configured for bottles. In order to switch it out for discs, if that's what you're using, simply switch out the nozzle that's inside here. There's a black one. The clear one is for the disc, so switch that out. Take your disc screen with the grate side up, set it down in there on the ledge, put your disc inside, and then use a diverter plate, set it on top, close it back up again. For larger systems where you need more product online at once, UltraMs can be coupled together using our coupler kit. For more product information on the UltraM and all of our dissolvers, you can find more information online, such as product bulletins and installation guides. So next up is the UltraG. The UltraG shares the same body as the UltraM does, so all the benefits such as small size and materials construction still apply to this unit. The main difference here is this is a gravity-fed unit, meaning that it does not maintain any solution in the reservoir. What does that actually mean? It means that you don't need a pump in order to feed it into. In certain situations where gravity is on your side, you can feed it down to a tower basin or internal sump. So if you look on the inside, once again, there's no level control. You have a solenoid here that you can hook up to either your controller or a simple garden timer to trigger to feed. So when you power that solenoid, it'll open up, let the water flow and spray against the chemical. On the bottom with your 2 ports, instead of putting in a valve, you're going to have 2 hose barb fittings and a Y fitting to tee it all together. So any solution that is created in this reservoir is automatically just gravity fed down through tubing down into your tower basin. So like I said, this is the most economical version that we have, and it's a great way to get a lot of product into the system in certain applications. The UltraG is easy to mount. It comes with a mounting plate that's going to use 4 screws and toggle bolts that are provided with you. All you need to do is mount this up on the wall and then slide the unit through the cavity on there. Okay, next up we're going to discuss the Ultima 500, which is our DuraBrome dissolver. This dissolver is only for use with DuraBrome due to the low solubility of the product. So unlike the UltraM and the UltraG that spray up against the product, this one actually soaks the product in water to saturate it. Uses the same float valve as using the UltraM, so the technology of the level control is the same and reliable. This would be kind of a replacement for a brominator with a couple of differences. So this one's able to feed multiple systems because it's not piped directly into the system. There's no pressure buildup because it's open to atmosphere. And for loading the product, this one has a special cap on it that when you screw it onto the top of your product, you drop it in there, rotate it so that it'll open up and all the product will fall down. So it eliminates the dusting so you're not breathing in any of those particles. The hopper is designed to hold up to 4 bottles of the DuraBrome product, plus you can have another bottle sitting on top. Due to the design, it's able to handle either a slug feed or continuous feed, depending on how you decide to feed your biocide. For installing the Ultima 500, you'll put in 2 bolts on the bottom that fit into the 2 slots down here, and you rest it up on there. While it's resting, push it up against the wall and install your top 2 bolts on the sides. The incoming water is going to come in right here through the side. Drops down, you'll see a stream of water come down onto this side of the reservoir. When the flow valve rises up enough, it'll turn off. The water goes down through the bottom and comes up the other side through the product, and that's where it'll saturate and pass through, and then you're going to be hooking your suction side of your chemical pump up over here on the side. We also have the Ultima 800. The Ultima 800 is designed for larger systems, and the dissolver itself is significantly larger than the UltraM, UltraG, or the Ultima 500 that we've previously shown. It sits on the floor. It takes up the space of roughly 1 drum, but it can hold up to 100 pounds of our product. 100 pounds of our product would be the equivalent of about 2.5 to 3 drums when you compare actives. These 100 pounds of product are coming in the form of our 9-inch discs that several of our chemistries are available in. The unit uses the same float valve technology as in the UltraM and in the Ultima 500. So you're getting that same proven technology to control that level. Okay, just to summarize our dissolver offerings that we have the UltraM, which is our most versatile one ever. You're going to want to use this one probably in about 90% of the applications. The other ones are more specific situations that we would be more than happy to help you with if you give us a call. So the other one is the UltraG. This is our gravity feed unit. In order to use this one, you need to make sure that the dissolver is mounted above the point of application of the product. It is the most cost-effective though, because you do not need a pump to use it with and doesn't have any internal level control. We have the Ultima 500, which is for the DuraBrome product. Operates slightly differently, whereas it soaks the product to achieve a maximum saturation instead of spraying against it. And then for the larger systems where you need a lot of product on demand, the Ultima 800 is going to provide you with 100 pounds of product. With all of our dissolvers, we're going to recommend some simple service guidelines. Each time you show up to the account, it's always a good idea to drain the reservoir and let it fill back up just to verify that it is operating correctly. And you also want to take the connectivity of the solution inside to make sure that the dissolving is happening as expected. Quarterly, it's a good idea to look into the bottom of the reservoir and check to see if there's any solids or buildup. If there are, easily slide it off the wall, take it over to a sink and rinse it out. And then annually, it's always a good idea to take the whole dissolver down and just give it a good inspection to make sure there are no cracking of tubing or connections, and also just for other visual confirmation that it's working properly. All right, great. That should round out our video portion of the webinar. I'm now going to hand it back over to Jim for the question and answer section. Thank you.
All right, well, we'll open it up now for questions. So any questions you have on equipment, we have David here live to answer any of those. And David, I saw some coming in already, so I'll go ahead and read some of those off as we have some others come in. So first, it says you mentioned the coupler kit for the UltraM. What all is included in that kit?
Yeah, sure. So the kit
is able to tee together two dissolvers. So there's a T in there, and then there's a check valve on each side, which allows the dissolvers to operate independently of each other, but feed a common pump as well.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. So does the Ultra M and Ultra G come with the disc conversion, or do you need to order that separately?
Yeah, the Ultra M and the G, they both come with everything you need for discs. When we ship them out of here, they are configured for the bottles. But like I said, the simple switching out the nozzle and dropping in the screen, all that is provided in the packaging of each one.
All right. Is there anything that needs to be installed ahead of the unit? So from the water line coming into the unit?
Yeah, we're always going to recommend that at the minimum you would install a serviceable filter, maybe like a twist to clean or something similar to that, just so you know there's always going to be some debris in that city makeup water, and it's a good idea if you can catch it before it gets to the dissolvers and you can clean it out, same as you would, you know, in front of your refrigerator or something similar.
Okay, another one that just came in that's kind of related, I think, is do you recommend a soft water feed to the solid dissolver, or does makeup water used not matter that much?
The soft water is nice, but typically it doesn't matter too much on what your incoming water chemistry really is.
Okay, let's see here. Do you still support the Ultra S?
Oh yeah, definitely. We will, you know, help you troubleshoot any issues you have, and we have some spare parts still available. We did discontinue it only because we felt that the Ultra M was worth moving forward with, and it wasn't really necessary for us to carry both lines, or both dissolvers, sorry.
Okay. So I imagine this might vary, but how long does it take to install an Ultra M?
I'd say a typical installation would be maybe 30 minutes, depending on what all you have available to you. In reality, once you get that water, the incoming water ran to your install site, putting it on the wall itself is pretty easy. I mean, you're just putting those 3 holes in and using the toggle bolts, or if you're putting in a concrete wall, you'd be using tap cons or something like that. Putting the mount on the wall doesn't take very much. I mean, it's almost like hanging a picture, if you will. And then once that's up, it's just sliding the dissolver on there and hooking up your connection. So I guess you're right. It depends on the situation, but I'd say on average, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay. We just had another one come in here. It says, how hard is it to change out a nozzle? Not sure what nozzle they'd be referring to.
Yeah, that's the switch from the bottles and the disc, I would assume. It's super easy. It's just screwed in there. Off the top of my head, I don't know what the socket size is, but it's listed in the manual. You just unscrew it, put the new one in there, and kind of torque it down a little bit. Even if you don't have sockets, you can get by with using a crescent wrench or something like that, because it's, you know, you just need to hook it on the flat sides and turn it.
Okay, here, let me see what else we got. Kind of along that line of installation, are there any tools or supplies that someone might need when they're doing one of these installations?
Yeah, so you're going to want to have a drill with a 1/2-inch drill bit if you're using the included snap toggles that come with the dissolver. If you're going to be putting it into a wall, like a brick a brick wall or something, you'd want a hammer drill just to be able to make that hole. And outside of that, really all it is a Phillips head screwdriver and then some tubing cutters just to make sure you get some flush cuts on your tubing.
Okay, great. Another question that just came in. On units that use a float, is the seal on the outlet valve a separate replaceable unit, or is the part of a larger assembly that has to be replaced?
For our float ones, the spare parts are going to be that entire float assembly that's up inside the dissolver. So in reality, there's only 2 main spare parts. It's the inlet assembly, which is going to be your
your incoming ball valve, your pressure regulator, and just a little bracket that hooks it onto the dissolver. And then the other spare part is going to be the float valve itself. So it'll be a kind of a all-inclusive type spare part and not separated out.
Okay, we just got another one. What is our warranty policy on equipment?
All of our equipment comes with a 1-year warranty.
Okay. Let's see here. We'll give another minute or so if anyone else has any additional questions. We did have a question about whether we could offer any continuing education credits for this training. At this time, we do not have that set up, but it's something that we're going to look into for those who are interested. Here's a new question that just came through, David. Let's see. How plumb to the units need to be now that the float is back into the equation?
I mean, obviously it's always going to be as straight up and down as you can make it. As far as the side to side, a couple degrees here and there isn't going to be an issue. I mean, if it's really tilting to the side, then you might run into a problem. And then as far as sagging off the wall, if you had any forward tilt, only up to about 5 degrees or so, because you'll want to minimize that tilt the best you can.
All right, great. Let me see here. I don't see any new questions, and we are coming up on the end of our allotted time. So David, thank you very much for your time, and thank you all for joining us for our 3rd installment, and stay tuned for the next webinar, which will be coming up next month. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks.